for me, business is personal. When people say that, business is business, personal is that, no, for me, it's all mixed. If business is personal, personal is business. It's just they're intertwined, and I treat it the same. I treat it like, if I want to do business with that person, I have to have a personal relationship with that person.
I am Christina Suter, and this is the Real Estate Breakthrough Show, where we talk about the reality of real estate, the mindset you need in order to face the reality of what it is, and tips and tricks to get you moving forward in investing. I am your host, Christina Suter. Hey you, this is Christina Suter with Real Estate Breakthrough, and I am with Linda Lim. She is an amazing human being to me. Problem is, Linda is also a personal friend of mine. So I have brought you guys somebody that I personally care about, but I'm excited to bring you her. I'm excited because she's an awesome human being. She's kind and generous. She's dedicated. She's got a lot of freaking grit, right? She has faced a variety of things inside of real estate, which we'll get to touch base on. And I just really feel like that what she has done, she donates her time to a variety of things. And one of the time that she donates to is to the what used to be called the For Investor by Investor Pasadena Multifamily Meeting, and is now called ITI, Investor to Investor. She is a strong part of our team, but I think her story, her growth of how she's really developed her professionalism is what I want you guys to listen to. Also, her strength as a human being and what's her secret sauce. So I'm just letting you know these are the questions we have planned because I think there's some important lessons in there, which is why I have brought her to you guys. So Linda, awesome to have you here.
Awesome. I'm excited. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So give me a quick let me get a quick understanding of what is your background? Why real estate? Just quick.
Okay. So my real estate is all accident. Although my family is entrepreneur family, I grew up. None of my families actually work for anyone. We basically business owner. Several types of business out there. Real estate. When I came to U.S., I'm already have a finance background in banking, right? And I continue to do my grad school, my focus in finance, and I get my undergrad basically, business economic and English literature, just to let you know, just totally different. But came to US and I do the grad school in I get MBA in finance and things starting with finance industry. So with like Wall Street, all name it, all the license 726, 663, life insurance as well as real estate. So it's all to be a financial advisor, which is what I was before. And real estate is the last one because, in order to be a financial advisor, you kind of like have to know several other aspects out there. But I never really use it because I work for financial institution, which is we usually don't use the real estate that much, because it's conflict of interest. Yep. So until, my personal story is like, I resigned from W2 with Citigroup at that time, 2008, 2009, when the whole mortgage department get wiped out. And I'm a single mom, so I kind of like feel like, okay, if that happened to somebody else, it could happen to me. So I choose to take control of my own future for the kids, for the children. So I went back and forth for Indonesia and LA to take over as a CFO in a company, new development company, resort. And after that, from CFO, then I got promoted into CEO until something happened to my son. Then I have to come back. When I come back, I don't have any other license, right? Because, in order for you to keep your financial 726 and all of that, you have to hang your license or work in financial institution. If you've not doing it, not having any production or not even working for any of them over 2 years, everything lapsed. So the only license that left to me is only real estate and life insurance. So I basically didn't have any choice at that time. I went to all my past clients, my past customer in when I was in banking, and I tell every day, I set up appointment face to face. I'm a firm believer in face to face. Nothing replace human connection. So 4 or 5 appointment every day, and then tell them that, okay, you know what, I know a lot about real estate, I know about tax return, I did commercial underwriting before. So everything is just not foreign to me. It's just I never really focused on real estate until that point in time, you know and things start changed until then. I mean, since then,
Yeah.
you
And
know I-
we'll get even more into your personal story a little bit later
okay.
because you have a very powerful and potent personal story, truly. What I want to ask you next is talk about what Essential Element Capital does. Who are you guys and what do you do? And I'm going to bring up your website here for those of you guys who are watching this on either YouTube, Roku TV, Amazon TV, or we have one more, Apple TV. So here is your website, Essential Element Capital, a team helping you unlock more time to do what you love. Talk to us about what you guys do.
Okay, so my real estate is my main focus in Essential Element Capital. So to be honest, I grow my business, organically, and never believe in website before, like I mentioned to you, until last year, the end of last year. So when I know COVID changed everything, COVID changed a lot of aspect of my business, including putting myself out there, right? So, Essential Element Capital is my home to tell the world basically what my, my passion is. My passion is to create and grow passive income. It doesn't matter what the passive income coming from. I believe that we have to create a passive income from an asset that resilient, and real estate is one of them. Like real estate is just pretty much like everybody needs housing. It's very basic and it's very consistent. Doesn't matter that you're in recession, doesn't matter you're in pandemic and things like that. People need a home.
Yeah.
So to pull together all the resilient asset that I can share with everyone, you know, through the website basically, and focusing on real estate or multifamily.
Let's talk a little bit about what your portfolio currently holds. So I'm gonna do this again. So what are you guys currently doing? I mean, effectively, you're raising capital for being able
Yes.
to invest in some solid deals for your
Yes.
investors that will bring them returns.
Yes. So my original career in real estate started in California, of course. I did everything pretty much like buying and selling real estate. And because a pool of a customer or client that I have is actually all businesses. So I was just leaning towards, doing commercial warehouse, retail, you name it, multifamily investment, any investment property, sometimes risk is even single resident STR or 1 to 4 or 5 above, everything. And then I start focusing on commercial just because of the way I be able to analyze a deal or analyze a tax return. And when I was in California, I did buying and selling to the point that I also do the flipping with one partner. I do flipping and all that. And from that field flipping, I created our own, what do you call it? Like a construction company to make it easier, right? To make it easier for me to be able to, assess the property before I submit an offer, and then do it everything on time, on schedule. So with that, so I pretty much all aspect of real estate until COVID hit. When COVID hit, then when I have to pivot like everybody else, and before I have fear to invest out of state, COVID make me to look out of state. Other that, then I find out that when you go out of state, is actually your margin and the risk is actually less than when you doing in California. So this is actually my portfolio since I put up my website, Q4 last year, Q3, Q4 last year. Um, we, as you know, that I'm heavily focusing in Arizona because that was the first out of state deals that I did with a partner, syndication partners. And I have in Tucson, I have in Phoenix, but I do also have the leftover construction, new construction that I'm still dealing with in West Hollywood. So one is West Hollywood and the rest in Arizona, which is Tucson and Phoenix area.
To me, it's very powerful because I know that, what you do is, yeah, you're effectively a capital raiser. You give people access to quality syndications as well as your own deals. And that is part of what you do. But your secret sauce, and it really is your secret sauce. It's your secret sauce inside your company. It's your secret sauce inside of the work you do and how you volunteer at ITI. And it's your secret sauce in your life. Your secret sauce is the interpersonal. Very clear to me. You just get stuff done in a way that is loving and inclusive and is community based.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that secret sauce. How do you use
Um,
it? How does it help you? Tell me more.
Yeah, so if I dig in deep, sometimes I also like, when people telling me, like you told me several times, when during our interaction, there's like, what, Steve also saying the same thing. So when I dig it deep, I think it's starting with all personal experience, right? Tried to survive in just it's everything. My dad passed away when I was really young, so everything I have to all figure it out. And I know way back that I need to be um shadowing, like, people that's important people for me to learn, you know and I love learning. So I have so much respect when people, taking their time to let me shadow. I was like really young, even like since like high school. I have a lot of mentors in my life, right? But then, you know, that skill, I think, starting from there, to be able to read the room and then try to figure out who I'm gonna try to, shadow this time. Who's like I want to learn from, and I try to approach that person and then try to be vulnerable. I try to, like, tell me and then why I want to learn from them and what I like about them. And I think that survivalship, it take me far. And then after that, when I was in college, I actually went to two university, and one of them I did it in business, and the other one is English literature. In English literature, actually, I learned how to dissect, for example, poetry, novel, T.S. Eliot, Shakespeare, and things like that, right? In order for me to be able to, break down the whole thing, break down, their story or their, words, even, like, we break it down into words. I have to know their background. I have to know their religion. I have to know their upbringing. I have to know
Mhm.
everything. So the research, even, dissect a Bible, right? Just because of you want to know in that era how that people think and why they do certain thing, why they choose certain words. So because of that skill, because of, like, I think because of that particular learning, I it comes to handy in business. So when you do, like, interact with people, I try to understand where they're coming from. I try to understand why, who they are, without judgment. It's hard, I mean, it grows, as I get older and I get wiser, it's easier for not judging too much, right? But when you're young, it's a struggle, because yes, you want to see the other people, like, the background, things like that, but at the same time, you have that judgmental thing, like that shadowing you, and that's human being.
Mhm.
And in order for me to be able to get them, be able to speak their language, be able to be in the same level as them, doesn't matter they're above me or lower or even equal, I still have to understand them, where they're coming
Mhm.
from. I need to be able to see them and listen, and um, I think it's more compassion, I guess. Have that compassion, and that's one thing that I always pray every day that I don't lose, is that part, to be able to share a compassion to other people. because that ability let me understand and then connect, right? The human connection, that once we get the human connection, the trust usually built from there.
Yeah.
It's very easy. So everybody has to break down the wall. Start with me first, the one who's approaching them. I have to be like transparent and be authentic. And authenticity also grow as I get older. Before you kind of like want people to see you in a certain way, but then the more you understand yourself, the more you'll be able to see what the strength that you have and love that. I love, like, my strength. Yes, everybody has weaknesses. I have a lot of weaknesses, but I try to focus on the strength and love it, right? And then try to share that strength to other people. And that's by showing my authenticity. And I know that I have the energy. I know that I have the compassion. I know that I want to help. That I push it forward. When I push it forward that way, I think that's genuine. That's like coming from, my deepest soul. So with that, when I break down my wall, usually the other person also, get into my level by breaking down their wall. And then the connection happen. And then that connection usually very strong. And I understand too that, it has to be maintained. And I put effort to maintain that, till to the point that sometimes we have a very close and strong connection, regardless business, not business. Sometimes, most of the time, even though that's coming from business, we become like a good friends, or even from friends, we become, a good business partners. It's all like, for me, business is personal. When people say that, business is business, personal is that, no, for me, it's all mixed. If business is personal, personal is business. It's just, they're intertwined, and I treat it the same. I treat it like, if I want to do business with that person, I have to have a personal relationship with that person.
I think
And
it's
it
so
goes vice
important because
versa.
we highlighted this specifically as your secret sauce, right? Because I think that not only is it true for you, Linda, but I think it's also true in our industry. Know, like, and trust
I
has
agree.
become even more important in our
I agree.
industry over time. I started investing, 35 years ago, and know, like, and trust wasn't as important. It was more like know and trust them to not mess you up too bad. Maybe you like them, maybe you don't, right?
Yeah.
But I think we've gotten to the point where we really understand it's know, like, and trust. There is an authentic human being in front of you. You're authentic to them. You're developing a true relationship with them. There could be lots of us in the field because we're all individuals,
Yeah.
right? And then there's also the deal.
Yeah.
Right? The one thing that is consistent across all of these people in the know, like, and trust is their integrity,
Yeah.
their willingness to be of their word, the
Yeah.
willingness to be authentic about who they are.
Yeah.
That is what creates this know, like, and trust. Then
Yeah.
the competency comes to play. Then the deal comes to play.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, and for years when I was doing my mastermind class, it was like, okay, let's take this whole pyramid and stick it on its head. Like, it was like the deal's first. I'm like, no, it's not first.
No.
Stick it on its head.
Yeah.
Turn it upside down, because know, like, and trust is first. Competency is next.
Yes.
Then comes, does the
Yeah.
deal itself work?
Yeah.
Because the best way to protect your portfolio is knowing what you're getting into. Good
Yeah.
managers will make a medium deal fantastic. Bad managers will take a good deal and totally frick the whole thing
Yeah.
up.
I agree.
Just saying.
I agree.
Right? So it really is, to me, maybe, and this is completely a personal, I can say maybe it's a personal agenda. No, it's completely a personal agenda. My personal agenda is that people as investors, people who are new in the real estate field, people who are professionals and potential future syndicators in this field, understand know, like, and trust, competency and integrity, and then the deal.
Yeah.
Right? That becomes what's central. And you, to me, are amazing because you're also willing to ask. Like, you just don't hesitate in asking. Like, it's part of your competency, part of your secret sauce, but it's part of your competency is just you're willing to ask. You're willing to protect your investors. You're willing to create what it takes to be able to ask and step forward and make that deal complete. That's what I see when I observe you. I mean, we just roommated together, right, at the Limitless conference, Ken McElroy's Limitless conference. And I was struck with over and over and over again, your willingness to ask because it's what needs to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you don't ask, then we only limit it. And I don't want to guess, right? I don't want to guess. When I see something that's good, I'm after it. And then if I see that, oh, let's say I already have it and I know that thing, that good thing that I can share it with people, I will do it. It's just like, I think it's more into like, why we live on earth too. Like, we have gift. God give us gift. God give us opportunity and things like that, right? It's for us not to keep it to ourselves. It's our
Mhm.
responsibility to share it with others. Doesn't matter what it is. Like anything that good that happened, you just have to share it with
I
others.
love it. I love it. And I think that, so tell me a little bit about how you protect your investors. Completely odd question. We didn't
Mhm.
pre-review this in any way, shape, or form, but tell me a little bit how you protect investors. Because again, as I said, your power to ask, your integrity and your authenticity is part of how you protect your investors. But tell me more. How do you protect your investors as far as like what you choose to put in your fund, what you choose, blah, blah, blah. Tell me more.
I first of all, that whatever asset is has to be resilient, right? It has to be something essential. That's why I name it essential element. It has to be something that a core. I don't believe that just randomly you can make money in a lot of things, right? But to be
Yeah.
consistent, resilient, the asset has to be basic need, basic need that human being needs, right? That's one first. Two, you have to fully understand the business, right? You have to understand the risk, especially the risk. And then you have to see how to mitigate it, right? And the third, you gotta have to invest yourself first.
Mhm.
I usually use myself as a guinea pig. If I believe in it and I see it for years and I learn about that industry, I know the industry, I know a lot of big players in that industry, and made it and how they mitigate the risks and things like that, and watch them how to mitigate the risks, right?
Mhm.
And
Yep.
then after that, then I test it on my own. I mean, I'm always open, coming from entrepreneur family. I'm very familiar with risk. To me, life is a risk. So I'm not hesitate to go into risk. And I always ask myself, if every time that I want to make decision, if things can go wrong, what is the worst thing gonna happen? Right? If the worst thing gonna happen, I'll be able to tolerate that and I be able to mitigate that and I'm okay with that. Yeah, the word okay probably is that I'll be able to manage that risk, then I'm willing to take that decision. I came to United States on my own. I have no one. I sleep at the airport for 2 nights, right? It's a risk taking up, I mean, yeah, but I was thinking, oh, I can work. What is the worst gonna happen? I can work over there. I can start everything from zero. With that, then I'm just flew myself in, not knowing anything else, right? But it's always like, what is within my power, I can mitigate that risk.
Right.
And with that, if I want to be able to bring after my personal investment, I want to bring it to the public or people share it like with family and friends. I usually ask myself, okay, if I want to bring this one to a market, uh, am I gonna call my sister first? Am I gonna call my mom first? If the answer is yes, meaning that that's a good thing because we're a very close family. One thing that I want to of course like try to take care first is within my radius of immediate family and then friend circle and things like that. So if I want to bring it up, I usually have them invest first, and
Mhm.
then after that, when I tried to figure out, I can tighten up this one a little bit. I can just ask this question a little bit, like, until the due diligence is, correct. I
Mhm.
did all more due diligence. Then I bring out to a bigger circle, right? That usually how I'm, the step that I have to be able to comfortable, investing in myself. And I did it first before everybody else.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful description of how you protect your investors. Makes perfect sense. You put your, it's skin in the game. And you do
Yeah.
it yourself. You look at it, you truly do your due diligence on it. You're aware of what risk means, both as a child of an entrepreneurial family, but coming here by yourself and sleeping in the airport for 2 nights. Like you really do understand how to take on risk and that risk can happen. And then you
Yeah.
put your own, rubber on the road where you put your own money in it. You're going to invest in it yourself. You get a sense for it before you can truly say, yeah, I'm comfortable with what it is. Here you go, guys. Let's have a
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
So, Linda, just because of time, you have a powerful story. You
Mhm.
came here from one country to another country. Your son got sick. You went back home to be able to help him. And we saw a picture of him just a minute ago. Let me show it again. So, because he's on your website. So, let's share it again. And you went back home, but also you were an investor. Like you've been an investor for a while, and you've run into some hard times. So there's a picture of your son and daughter.
Yeah, that's Drake and Lily.
Yeah, it's lovely. Just being a single mom, really trying to get it done. It's just
Yeah.
fantastic. We don't have time to get into what that means, which we don't. Um, but let's get into your story, the story that I'm familiar with, and the question I always ask, which is if we're using real estate to break through to our
Okay.
financial freedom, the Real Estate Breakthrough Show, because that's what we use real estate for, it doesn't always go right. Sometimes it goes wrong. So tell me about a time when it went wrong and how did you work through it and how did it grow you up,
Okay.
right?
So yeah, in real estate is actually one asset that, I mean, knock on wood, I always win in real estate. Like, I mean, it's just funny. But COVID threw me out of the grid, right? Because
Okay.
when I have a few projects when COVID happened, I have a few project that has to shut down because COVID happened. We all like in shock. Okay, now my money is in there. There's interest still kicking in, right? And then we can't build. I do construction and things like that. And then at that time, like everything has to stop. The city issue, like lockdown for 6 months, no work, nothing, right? In my mind, until how long this gonna last, and I'm still paying out of our pocket,
Yep.
like
Yep.
right, everything. So
Yep.
that then it turned out the market shift right away. The in real estate value going up. If you remember during COVID in California, like it's almost double. Did we know that ahead of time? No, we didn't know. Did I know that the lockdown is going to shift like in 8 months, 6 months, or 2 year? No, I didn't know. One
Yeah.
thing that I learned is as an entrepreneur, doesn't matter what kind of business, especially in our business, right? We have to, I think, working on personal growth as far as being fluid and
Mhm.
being open to solution and not to get stressed or stuck. I think, and still keep your hope up. I mean, I know it sounds cliche, but when it
Exactly.
is sound cliche, but think about it, right? I mean, good things never last as well as bad things. So when that thing happened, pandemic is one biggest thing. But look at what happened after the pandemic, the value is going up.
Mhm.
Actually, those projects that stuck in COVID, I hold it off for a little bit too. When it's done, everything is completed. I hold it up and I just try to read the market. It was not me. It's not like it's out of my character to
Yeah.
wait.
To
Usually,
wait.
what I did is just like what, let's just sell it. We just get over COVID, just sell it right away. No, I waited. I waited for probably about 6 months. We got an offer, and I just waited until like close to a year, and I'd be able to actually sold it for double of the profit. Moral of the story, I think, is moral of the story is like sometimes when you read the mark, sometimes you have to trust yourself. If that thing happened, you let it sit. If you don't find a solution, it's okay. Sometimes time, market change, and the new solution, a new perspective will present itself. And
Mhm.
sometimes it is for the better,
There
right?
you go. Yeah. Yeah. I think the bottom line of what you just said is that trust yourself.
Yeah,
Know that it's fluid, so be fluid.
Yeah.
And the market has a very good chance of being better. It's a
Yeah.
matter of being able to travel with it.
Yeah.
So, and I know that like you said, you've been an investor personally, but you've also helped other people invest their money through Essential Element Capital. So, I mean, it's just, being able to take your experience, your personal experience, and being able to lend that to your investors, um, I think is valuable. I think it's valuable. I look for people
Thank
who
you. I
have
think
their
so
own
too.
experience in real estate, right, as an investor, because then I understand, they understand.
Yeah.
Right? They know what it's like to have $100,000 disappear.
Correct. Oh, I lost money in investment. I lost $2 million like in 2020, and that was also, it's not in real estate and in crypto, fraud completely, right? And I didn't wake up for a couple of days until my son, the one who's telling me, okay, I think I seen you for years. I think every time that you took a step back, you always gain growth, like double or triple, and I everything's gonna be okay, mom, because I hear him say something like that, and I know that if I want to leave a legacy, that's probably the
Mhm.
legacy that I want to leave to them. So I have to get up, get
Yep.
back, and then continue on.
Get up and get your ass out of bed, literally.
Literally.
Literally, okay, I
Continue
gotta
on.
keep
Yes.
right. And
Yeah.
it's amazing who we make those decisions for. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's it's just, to me, like, for our kids, like, maybe we feel completely washed out, completely overwhelmed, completely like, I am such the freaking loser. There is no way I'm getting out of this bed, or this is so devastating. There's no way I can face it.
Yeah.
But when we face it for somebody else,
Yes.
we'll face it for somebody else. Like you said, being a role model for your son and going, I can't role model this for him.
Yeah.
I got to get myself up and get out of bed and show him that you can live through these tremendous losses,
Yeah.
that you can recollect yourself as a human being and be able to say, I am going to choose to participate in life, even if it's freaking hard right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to choose that.
Yeah.
And you chose it as a role model to your son. And I know we've talked about the story. I know it was personally incredibly hard for you.
Yeah.
It really was. And
But
so when
that's pushed my growth. Is that actually pushed the one that I'm from fear, being in fear all the time, to invest out of state. So I have to start to look, because I understand I have to have a massive, massive growth to be able to overcome my loss, right? To be
yeah,
able to cut it. It's okay to cut it and then move forward, but I have to make it up. I have to make it up in a very short period of time. So I'm looking for any opportunity. And I know something that I would not do if that thing that not happening. I did, which is, when out of state, and now look what happened. Only take one case, one deal out of state with a great partner. Then after that, things start to change, right? Then the fearness now, we're talking about it also on the way back from Phoenix the other day.
mhm,
I mean, after that, sky is the limit, because if I can do it in Arizona, I can do it in another state too.
that's right.
Things start to change in a big way, which is, I'm very thankful. I mean, I'm very thankful for the experience. I know it's, to me, is like not common when people say something like that, but I do. I mean, I appreciate that I lost it. I appreciate that I have the mentality to strength to push it through, and then make it such a big difference and such a big growth. And I'm now looking back, it's like, you know what, it's all worth it.
It,
I'm
do-
not,
it,
I'm
but it
not
does
crying
take
for it.
it does take a lot of grit to do that. I mean, it really takes a lot of dedication, because it kind of becomes as a choice. You either go, I'm going to regret this for the rest of my life and I get smaller,
Yeah.
or I'm going to make it okay and then I can get bigger.
Yeah.
It's kind of a choice point. You either get one or
Yeah.
the other. You don't usually, especially the more powerful the experience is, the more clear the choice is.
Yeah. I don't even, I mean, I look at it, it's like, okay, it's like it become a story, like a over coffee. Oh, I just lost it.
Yeah,
How much?
yeah.
$2 million. At that
But
time I was crying, and a few days didn't even get up.
yeah, no, it's honest. I understand. It's one of my stories too, is when I lost total loss was probably over 2 million, a little more than $2 million across the whole portfolio during 2009, 10, and 11. Absolutely. I was within like $300,000 of my first cornerstone of, like, yeah, I got it made. I can retire, like totally retire. Like I don't even like I retired in 2000 and became a full-time investment, right? Full-time real estate investor and a consultant. And so that happened in 2000, but this was like, it was 2000, now it's 2009, 8, it's 2006 and 7. I'm like, oh yeah, $300,000 away from my retirement goal. I can choose to never do real estate again if I ever don't ever want to. Yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. And then to lose such a big chunk of it. I mean, it
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I froze for like, I literally 6 months. I could watch my portfolio go down by $100,000 or more
Mhm.
per month. And then
Oh
by the
my
time
God.
I froze, it was still like, okay, I still got short. Actually, the time I like said, okay, you know what? I have to do this. I have to make this better. I either have to walk away or I have to double down.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to double down because I couldn't face my own personal disappointment of
Mhm.
walking away.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I couldn't live with myself.
Yeah.
So the choice and the only choice was to double down.
Yeah.
So I doubled down.
Yeah.
So I fixed it. I
Yeah.
sold all the properties. I sold everything, working or not working. I converted my focus um, to hard money lending and to investing in syndications, becoming much more of a passive investor. So it's a
Good for you.
choice.
Yeah, it is
Right?
a choice.
So
Everything is a choice.
you
Yeah.
faced it too. Same thing. Like I'm going to get
Yeah.
my ass out of bed or I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
either going to let this define me for the rest of my life or I'm going to let it grow me for the rest of my life. And that
Yeah.
is the choice you get to make.
Yeah.
All right, girl. So tell me, what does financial freedom mean to you?
Okay, financial freedom mean like choices, right? I mean, it's more choices. It's evolved to me personally. It's evolved. The beginning. Financial freedom to me is like if I be able to put my kids both to school of their choosing school, that
Yeah.
I'm good. Then it changed again to like, oh, I want to have a freedom of time,
Right.
right? But then when you realize that, you know what, I do have freedom of time because I make a choice every day, right?
You
I don't
do.
have to wait until like I become a like billionaire to be able to make a choice into my
Right.
time. So now the way I look at it, yeah, exactly,
Exactly. I have to
right.
wait until I've got
No, I don't
3
want to.
million,
Yeah,
5 million, or 10 million in the account. Guess what? I have choice today.
I have choice today.
Today.
Exactly. Then after that I was thinking, oh, you know what, financial freedom to me, if I be able to have more to give to the community, doesn't matter that because of time, freedom of time or material, financial, right? I want to be able in the position that, you know what, yeah, here, you need something, I built orphanage in Indonesia. I think I share with you, I built a learning center for them. My friend, my good friend, has a land, and we just try to raising fund and then build something like that. uh, Means so much to me, right? This is why we live, and I want to be able to do more of that. If I be able to give back more, and that's probably one of the things that in the back of my mind that drive me. Like sometimes you get lazy, and then sometimes you're like, you know what, I have a choice. I don't have to really scale my business. I mean, my kids is already done. They already graduated. I don't have to scale my business. But then I was thinking, you know what? One is for protection, because I don't know when I'm going to die. Two, this is probably something that if I have more, then I can share more,
Mhm.
you know, and that's motivate me,
All right,
truly.
Linda. If people want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of you and Essential Element Capital? How do they do that?
So my email is linda@essentialelementcapital.com. And you welcome to get into like my website, essentialelementcapital.com. And then let's connect. I
Perfect.
have, oh, yeah, I have a link in there.
You do. I'm
Yeah.
trying to highlight it right there. Let's connect. Right
Yeah.
there. Perfect, Linda. Thank you so much. I so appreciate it. I appreciate you as a human being. I appreciate how you support ITI. I appreciate your story and how you've brought yourself from, a child of another country all the way through with a sick kid to being here to developing your own business model. You truly have lived a diverse life. And I don't think we've captured even a third of that diversity that you have lived in your life. But here you are today, a woman truly capable of making her choices for herself and protecting her investors because of the power she's generated, that you've generated over time, the grit you've generated to know what it means to truly embrace life and succeed in it. All right, Linda. Thank you so much, sweetie. This is Christina
Thank
Suter.
you.
Got it, honey. This is Christina Suter at Live a Rich Life. You can find me at ChristinaSuter.com. You can also find this podcast on a variety of platforms, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and iTunes, as well as YouTube, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV. Thank you so very much. See you next week.